Clovis. Hey, buddy, you want to come in? Whoa! Whoa, the current! The current's taking us, Clovis! Whoa! Let's go! Oh yes. Oh yes. Oh yeah, baby. Let's go. And it is the werewolf here, waiting, thirsty for its intake of hydraulic fluids. Grease monkey, let's go. Okay, the grand old Canadian Tire, I think, has presented us with a few options here. So it's tricky to get in here. So I kind of got a combination of a few different things. And then we'll have a second one with this siphon pump. It says it's good for oil and fuel and all that kind of jazz. And let's see, start pumping. Come on, work. Oh, does this need to be higher for the siphon? No, it shouldn't, right? Come on. Come on. This is gonna be much slower, but I think this is a guaranteed way of actually getting the stuff. Okay, let us fire up the werewolf and see if there's any leakages. Let's see if there's in the dash says anything. Nope.
I am James ALOFS. I left the big city to build an off-grid homestead on 40 acres of Canadian wilderness. This area of Ontario has giant ridgelines, deep valleys, and pure rivers. Black bears, gray wolves, mountain lions, moose, and many forest spirits share the land. I started in November 2023. Starting with a modest 12 by 16 foot guest cabin, my goal is to build such a glorious homestead that I attract a magnificent wife, have several military-grade babies, and raise our Swiss mountain dog Clovis. Welcome to Wild Homestead.
Oh, buddy. Oh, buddy, you're sleepy. King Clovis. You got that wool blanket and your dog bed. Oh, sleepy. Guys, very first batch of wolf milk cold brew. Completely out of beans. There's like one bean in here. So like everybody, I gotta wait. It's probably gonna be another week or so before we get more packaging back. And in the same time, we'll have our Canadian roastery up and running as well. But let's try this. Look at that, delicious. Clovis, stay quiet. Stay quiet. Now, before we put on the normal bucket, there was a few folks who said that this grapple claw can be pretty good for doing this kind of stuff. You know, breaking up any kind of extra roots that are in there and just generally like kind of smoothing stuff out. So I'm gonna take a few passes with it and see if there's any logic in that before, you know, switching to the regular conventional bucket. Werewolf front loader performing admirably. Guys, it's not bad. Like, for a first pass, and I really get the logic of using the fingers of the grapple claw because it's not scraping away all the dirt, you know what I mean? I think, you know, we're gonna try the regular bucket next, but look at this. Like, this is one of the most egregious, you know, up and down parts of the whole driveway. And dude, for somebody who's never, like, this is literally my first time using the front bucket, it's pretty good. Like, this is pretty good. You know, ideally, we won't have to use any gravel to fill this in, because ideally I just wanted to keep the road like this, right? But I'm really happy. guys, one of the coolest features on this tractor is the following. So I'm gonna put the bucket, tilt the tip down a bit, lip down a bit, put it all the way down to the ground, then watch this. I'm gonna push it until it clicks. Now the joystick is closed forward, and as I back up, you'll notice the bucket is kind of flexing as you go across the ground. So basically, it's putting an even amount of pressure, and when you get to hard areas, it's just naturally kind of going over them instead of having the bucket stay in the same place and the whole tractor front like lift up. So I think for this kind of grading thing, it's not perfect, but it's better than not having anything at all. Oh yeah. Okay guys, that's where we're coming from. So this is just the first few passes we made with the bucket. You know, it's not getting at quite as level as the grapple claws. Oh my goodness. This is a miracle. This is a miracle. This is so much better. Oh my goodness. Wow. It ain't perfect, but I think it's what we need for this stage of the Wild Homestead logistics. Wow. Whoops. Sorry, Clovis. So guys, the splitting maul that I ended up going for is this thing called Chopper1. Their website is like chopper1.com or something like that. They're made in New Jersey. And I got this one because this is what Sean James has been using for years, you know, on his channel, My Self-Reliance. And I figure Sean James makes a lot of good choices. He's been living this life for like 10 years already. So if he uses this as a splitting maul, it's pretty cool. So some people think this is clumsy and not well designed, but I think it kind of makes sense. They've got these two spring-loaded little splitters here. So as the axe head's going into the piece of wood, it kind of helps to force it apart, and then it stops here. So I don't know, it kind of makes sense to me. I should probably just get like a regular splitting maul and then try to compare them, but hey, it's been pretty cool so far, I think. This is quite the pothole here, folks. Quite the potholes. I was thinking of just bringing in the gravel for these last couple, but I think we might as well make a pass with the grapple claws. 2 dead trees at once. Dude, this thing is ridiculous. This thing is freaking ridiculous. 2-wheel drive. Wow, what a beast. Easy. Okay, go. Nice. Oh, yes. Okay, ladies and gents, major test here. Driving the car for the first time. Oh man, guys, it ain't perfect, but holy cow, this is nicer than it was. Wow, no whiplash, no bottoming out the suspension. That was a huge problem. I've snapped almost entirely in half all my plastic mud flaps on the back of the wheel well. This is just gonna be so much easier on the truck, like getting material back and forth. We gotta get it smoother though, it's not completely level. Yeah, Clovis. Yeah, buddy. No more flying around the back for you anymore on this road. Many people don't know the word to vandalize or to be a vandal comes from a people, a Germanic people called the Vandals, who were very, very naughty towards the end of the Roman Empire. So they crossed, I told a story earlier about how there was this big contingent of Burgundians and other folk who crossed the Rhine in the winter of 406 AD. Alongside the Burgundians were the Vandals. Now, the Vandals ended up making their way, after rampaging through Gaul with the Burgundians, down to modern-day Spain, the Iberian Peninsula. And then after that, they made their way into North Africa, which was literally, other than Italy itself, I believe like the richest Roman province there was. At that time, you know, Tunisia, kind of Algeria, the northern coast of Africa, was wetter, had more precipitation than it did today. It was an absolute agricultural powerhouse. So it was insanely wealthy. And the Vandals captured it, basically for a period of almost 200 years from the Romans. And they basically turned into sea pirates, even though these were a Germanic, you know, people from the deep, dark forests of Germany. They turned into very skilled pirates and raided and pillaged all around the Mediterranean. This was, I believe, 455. They actually sacked Rome, and they destroyed a huge amount of art, statues, huge numbers of things in Rome. And this is where the word to vandalize actually came from. So it was the sacking of Rome, but it was just the Vandals and their general piratical behavior during basically this 200-year period that they ran North Africa. So Justinian I, the ruler of Eastern Rome, came and fought the Vandals and actually took back North Africa in the year 533. So that was the end of the Vandals, but they live on to this day, the absolute goat pillagers and raiders of the late Roman Empire. I like it. It's the temporary werewolf den. This will really protect it. I think the main thing is from the sun, because it's surrounded on all sides by trees here. So really keep it out of the sun, which is good. Because a lot of people have told me the paint job on these can fade pretty quickly in the direct sunlight. So this should be a good, I think, a good spot on the moss. Sit. Sit. What are you doing? Oh, yeah. Clovis, trying to get some water so you can drink, buddy. Oh my goodness. So much better than before. Wow. No cold brew for you. Nothing like a warm cabin and some cold brew.
I think I may have brewed this cold brew a little bit too strong, guys. I can see the baby Jesus in my peripheral vision, and that's never happened before, but I like it.
Whoa! Oh my goodness, that's easy. Wow. Oh, heck yeah. Whoa! Whoa! Oh, dude, look at that. You see the pins back here? Dude, no way. gotta let the pressure out of the lines. Nice. This one goes back into the tractor. Dude, no way. Would you look at that, folks? Would you look at that? Figure out how to get the 3-point lower arms attached back into this apparatus. That is the PTO drive. It is the main shaft coming off of, I guess, the engine, the diesel engine that turns many of the implements so that we can mount this bad boy. Dude, it's almost like I get out of the tractor and the thing turns off. I wonder if there's some kind of sensor in the seat that detects whether the operator is inside the tractor. Okay, so I'm gonna turn on the PTO. So it should be spinning. Rear PTO, 180. What happens if I increase, I'm gonna put up the throttle, 238. Ladies and gents, it's taken a few hours, but I think our forestry mulcher is a fully operational Death Star. to continue on the bathroom addition on the back of the cabin, the first step, we need to clear all this stuff. First of all, it's a fire hazard having vegetation this close to the cabin, but also for doing the plumbing, for doing the gray water septic field at the back, we need to have all of this cleared. Now, there's a few confounding factors, the first of which is the majority of the vegetation in here are these totally nasty hawthorn bushes. And as you can see, they've got these giant, super sharp spikes on them. So clearing these out by hand would be an absolute nightmare. The other thing is that all these branches kind of like grow into one another. The moderate amount of cutting that I've done back here has been an absolute nightmare. So this is why we have the forestry mulcher. The other semi-bizarre thing is that the person who lived here last, who I believe was the person, farming the cattle on this property, their old cabin is right here, the remnants of it. And I think this thing collapsed sometime in the 1980s. But once we clear all the vegetation out here, we're probably going to need to somehow remove all this debris from the old cabin. And I'm sure there's like nails and a bunch of nasty stuff back there. Dudes, I mean, that's pretty cool. That basically liquidated that little tree. I guess we can drop him lower and try to get rid of this stump here. Whoa! Whoa! That's not very impressive. It should be able to just chew through this stuff, man. What the heck? What is this? Dude, this is not as advertised. It should be able to chew through this thing. All the YouTube videos, it just friggin' chews through this kind of stuff. Okay, folks, so I just got off the phone with Bombalite. I didn't even know this, but they're manufactured in Ontario. Holy cow. So they said for doing this kind of bushes with there's lots of branches, you should run it at max RPM. So I was running it at like 300. They're like run it up near 550 or 600. And start high and then work your way down low. Holy cow. Okay, fingers crossed. Let's make a second pass. We'll do it at super high RPM, start high. Look at this, man. That was one straight pass back. Absolutely eviscerated and chipped all of that hawthorn bush. Same thing over here. So that's the trick. First pass high, second pass medium, third pass grading right into the ground and keep it max RPM. The guy said do it, keep it so it's whining, just like max RPM. what do you think, buddy? Pretty crazy, eh? Crazy! This is tough because the old cabin is right in here. I don't know if you can see the timbers down there. Whoa! Dude, that's the stove cap from the old cabin from the last people. Just like ours. We gotta be careful. We gotta kind of dance our way around this cabin. You see these timbers are squared up? I'm pretty sure they were probably dovetail, hand hewn. A lot of time, Clovis. What do you think? That's the metal I've found so far.
Yeah, it's pretty dangerous, guys. I got the rear tires stuck over a log right at the cliffside. The tractor's at a very precarious angle right at the cliffside.
Good boy. Sorry, buddy. Can't have you outside while we're doing the mulcher. Okay.
Slide down the slope. Clovis, hello! We'll try him out of here for a while. I don't know if it's safe to have him out here. Oh, guys, look at this. What's all this metal stuff? That looks like a railroad tie or a big spike of some kind. Just fell out of a... Look, pickaxe head. Look at that. I bet we can save that. This other stuff looks kind of random. Axe head. Whoa. Dude, definitely save these two. Because I think the original family lived here starting in the 1920s or the 1910s. Oh my goodness, Green Mountain Coffee. Clovis. 5 pounds, something Canada, Norman, wonder what year that is. That's crazy, man. I wonder if I can clean that up. What's so weird is when I chose this location to build a cabin, I was just like, hey, it's gonna be a sweet view once I cut down the trees finally. And what do you know? The last people that were here, or at least the original people, they built a cabin in like the exact same spot. That's crazy. Guys, I think this building might have been their sauna. It might have been the sauna because I found all these stones with the kind of, oven stuff. These might have been the stones that sat on top of the sauna. Almost done, guys. Oh, no. Do you guys see that? There's liquid. Let's see. Oh, no, that's loosening it. Okay. There we go. I think that might be the culprit, Clovis. I think that might be the culprit. Can you tighten this?
Here we go.
Nice. This tree, this thing's been dead since I got here. We gotta cut this down. We gotta cut this down right now. That tree is squiggly as all bajangus. It's really not appropriate for milling, but definitely firewood. We're gonna chop that guy. He should be nice and dry. He's been standing dead for quite a little while now. What a beast! The werewolf! Incredible. This entire thing was the densest stand of prickly hawthorn bushes you can imagine. Completely cleared. Miracle, absolute miracle, ladies and gentlemen. We now have the space we need to do the gray water septic field and bring in our plumbing and our water from the river. Praise Odin.
Thanks for watching. See you next week. Strength and honor to you all. May the gods bless both the old gods and the new. And remember, folks, if something horrible happens in your life, like your wife leaves you for her jiu-jitsu instructor, Juan Carlos, or you get hawthorn bushes stuck in your forestry mulcher, there's only one thing you can do. Let's hold your head up high and say the following 7 words and 3 syllables. Ooga, booga.